Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, retro culture's here.
Today's retro culture topic: a discussion of the movies Money Plane and The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, with special guest Logan Kenny.
Let's get going this time. So, trying it. Take two in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, my gorgeous, gorgeous listeners, to a new special episode of Retro Culture, where I, the Bachelor of Science, have a very special guest here to talk some very peculiar motion pictures about very peculiar subject matters, which is what I specialize in anyway. And anyway, as I mentioned, I have a special guest. And why don't you introduce yourself, Mr. Mystery Guest?
Hello, I'm Logan Kenny. I'm here to talk about some weird fucking movies.
Alright, now...
I'm very excited to be here.
Now, give the audience at home a background on you. What is your background when it comes to film, and what do you do?
I'm a professional film critic, kind of. I do the occasional piece for places like the Film Stage and Cinematary. I've been doing it for about 2 years. Before that, I was one of those letterboxd people, and that's how I got my foot in the door. And currently, I'm in the middle of 2 different wrestling movie podcasts and just a general wrestling podcast. All of which are on hiatus because I'm very lazy. But apart from that, I'm just vibing, watching Money Plane, watching other motion pictures like that, and having a good time.
And occasionally doing wicked trivia nights.
That I win a lot of.
Yes, you do.
You are my biggest competition.
There's a couple others that give us runs for our money. But,
there's a couple other people, but usually it will come down to the both of us.
You're not quite Nemesis level yet. You're more like, this damn annoyance. So he's gone.
Yeah.
Sweet, I might win.
I'm the Scrappy Doo of the trivia night.
No, you're not.
I always
Scrappy
come
Doo.
back.
You're more like I'd say you're more the Scooby of the bunch, and I'm maybe the Shaggy, maybe the Fred. Well, I think I'm more the Fred. I'm the guy who's trying to keep it on track. So
the thing about Fred is that Fred is such a big, adorable dummy, and I love him so much. So I don't think you quite classify as Fred. I think you're more of the Velma to my Scooby.
Yeah, I guess. I like how they reclassified Fred as a trap fetishist in later iterations.
Fred just has an issue, and his issue is he just wants to split up because he wants to be alone with his dark thoughts. And it sucks for him. I just want to give him a hug.
Traps Weekly? Freddy! No, you don't understand!
Oh, man. The last podcast I did actually was on Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, because I'm the Scooby Doo expert.
I need to catch up on a lot of the directed videos. I haven't...
I think
man, I only was on board for
bangers.
the first 6 or 7 of those, because I remember Cyber Chase.
Classic.
I'm gonna have to look at a list. It's like, there's so damn many.
There's a bunch of them. There's a lot of them. There's one this year.
There's gotta be at least 30 of them by now.
Oh, there's a lot of them. I've seen most of them. There's a few I haven't seen.
Do we count the originals? Like, the Ghoul School and...
Yeah, you can. You can Ghoul School. I mean, the new wave was started with Zombie Island. Like, the run of, the 4 classics of, Zombie Island, Witches, Ghosts, Alien Invaders, Cyber Chase, and then all the others afterwards that aren't quite as well regarded by the diehard fans, but I love them all. Abracadabra Do. That movie, that's a banger right there. They go to fucking magic school, and there's a banshee, and it's great. It's excellent stuff.
I think the last one I partook in was probably Cyber Chase, although I've seen bits and pieces of the Loch Ness Monster and the Monster of Mexico.
Well, the thing about the Loch Ness Monster is that's a Scottish classic. That is canon here. Because Nessie is one of our greatest cultural exports. Nessie is money here. That a large reason for tourism pre-COVID was to go to Loch Ness and try and find Nessie. It's a great source of national pride for all of us.
And the tourists.
And Scooby Doo and the tourists. Yeah, we like making money off the tourists as well. Obviously.
I mean, that's the capitalist way. It's not just the American way anymore. It's capitalist.
The thing is, right, is that if they're gonna come, we might as well make some money and spend that money on a big inflatable Nessie, because that's a great thing to spend money on. Is a big giant Nessie near Loch Ness that is like a parade float. That's a great purchase right there. But that's an excellent movie. I rewatched it this year and it holds up. The thing is about Scooby Doo movies is that they're all good. Even the ones that are much lesser are at least entertaining. Like, it's almost impossible to mess up that formula, which is just a beautiful thing to witness. Because I just love it when that dog solves crimes. It's great. It's my like CSI, I guess, is Scooby Doo.
Yeah. Actually, you and I sort of have that in common in that where I live, there's this bi-yearly, like every 2 years now I think it is, art festival called Art Prize here in Michigan. And nice. I believe it was the first year someone made a giant wooden sculpture, like almost life-size sculpture of Nessie, and put it in the Grand River.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, it was 2009. The Nessie project was a pretty good. Put a link in the chat for you if you want to take a look at it. But it was pretty impressive.
I will look at it later.
Shit. Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Like, wow, that's a lot of dedicated work. And now it's
I mean, I don't know why you'd make it out of wood if you were going to put it in the ocean or the river.
Well, now it's got a permanent spot in the pond at the local zoo. So
okay.
I think they got some shellacking or something on it if they're going to keep it there.
Yeah, because like wood is. It's not the most resistant thing to water that exists. It's not the most resistant material.
But boats exist, Logan!
Yeah, but not all of them are wooden boats. Like,
well, they were for the longest time.
Yeah, and they always fell apart in the swamps. Why do you think there's so many movies about the bayou? It's the wooden boats' fault. They wouldn't have that problem on a good steel ship. The crocs aren't going to bite through the steel as easy as they are the wood. So.
Fair enough. But
there are crocs in the bayou, right?
Alligators.
It's the same thing. What is the difference? I don't know. I'll look it up once this is over.
Yes. Oranges. Apples, natural predators. What?
Look, all I'm saying is, if you know the difference, you can DM me at LoganKenny1 on Twitter.com and explain it to me, and I will listen. And I will not take it on board for the rest of my life, but I appreciate you taking the time to do so.
Fair enough. We are here to discuss a pair of movies that I would say have some unique connections, most notably in terms of budget. But we are here to discuss two movies. The first of which we are about to jump into is the year of our Lord 2020 release, that is Money Plane.
Money Plane.
Directed by Logan. I'm going to leave this to you. You can nail the details. So whose idea was Money Plane and who is in it?
The thing about Money Plane, to start off, Money Plane is not a WWE Studios production, which is crazy, because it should be. It is even lesser than that, which is why it's so genius. Money Plane is directed by a classic filmmaker by the name of Andrew Lawrence.
Of the Brothers Lawrence?
I guess so. I believe he has never made another film behind the camera, but he has been in some classic motion pictures, like White Man's Burden with John Travolta and Harry Belafonte, the Disney original Going to the Mat, Jack Frost, and a movie just called Love on Repeat, which sounds fantastic. He has used his clout in the acting profession to direct his first feature film, similar to Clint Eastwood with Play Misty on Me, or Ron Howard with Grand Theft Auto. He is following in the footsteps of all those classic actor-turned-directors by making a movie better than all of them. Money Plane.
See, but I'm quite familiar with the Brothers Lawrence, actually, because they were a Disney Channel family.
Okay, so that's before my time.
Yeah, those three brothers were everywhere. Actually, Andrew Lawrence was the voice of TJ on the Disney animated show Recess. And
I never saw Recess.
Recess is actually pretty solid, like, nostalgic,
It sounds
fluff.
fun.
Oh yeah, it's just kids messing around at recess. There's like, it's like the kids come up with a whole society based around the concept of recess. There's like the minor kids who are literally digging into the soil around the school to dig tunnels all around the place. There's like the king of recess. There's all this. There's a neat little like social structure in this recess.
I was kind of like
franchise.
that, honestly. Like in like real life, when you're like 9 years old on the playground, there are always those weird different structures of like people. Like there's weird little communities for like 40 minutes of recess or whatever. And
Andrew Lawrence was also in the classic Disney Channel movie The Other Me, where a teenager accidentally clones himself into a genius and ends up using his clone to pass his school assignments.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Oh yeah, just search up all the brothers Lawrence Disney Channel original movies. There's
See, I respect Disney Channel original movies because they're always funny. Like always, it's almost impossible for them not to be funny. Like every single Disney Channel film. Like there's one where fucking Taron Killam is a teen idol, and that dude is not. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but like that man is not appealing to teens. There's no way that is a teen pop star, and yet they cast him as the biggest teen idol in the world. That is very, very funny to me. Not quite as funny as Money Plane, but almost as.
All right, so we've already gotten off the rails, but let's dig deep into Money Plane, directed by Andrew
one of the brothers Lawrence.
But who does this star, Mr. Kenny?
Oh boy. Well, Money Plane stars a few people, but the main character is Adam Edge Copeland, the professional wrestler, one of the best to ever do it. He was retired for 9 whole years, right, because of neck injuries. He came back in early 2020 after stem cells and shit, and he's back. But in the interim period, he decided, what if I started motion pictures? And the movie that broke him out into the business was Money Plane. Money Plane that also stars one of my favorite actors of all time, Thomas Jane, who does not care, and the funniest man in history, Kelsey-Grammer.
I don't know. I don't think Kelsey-Grammer is the funniest part of this movie, to be honest.
Oh, there's so many funny parts of this movie, but Kelsey-Grammer, he's the Rumble.
That is only one of his names, Mr. Kenny.
Darius Grouch the Third.
Darius Emmanuel Grouch the Third, also known as the Rumble.
The Rumble. I got a wrestler.
Rumble Corp.
I got a wrestler who's very funny to say the words "the Rumble" in a cameo for my friend's birthday, because he is also a Money Plane tourist, and that was one of the best moments of my life, was getting a funny wrestler to say the words "the Rumble," because that is just an inherently funny name to me now. The Rumble. It's because of Darius Grouch, one of the greatest characters in the history of Western civilization. He changed the game forever. I am so proud to be alive at the same time that Darius Grouch III is.
Yes, but not only do we have The Edge, Kelsey-Grammer, and Thomas Jane, we also have special appearances by Denise Richards in her 2-scene cameo.
Oh yeah, Denise Richards. See, the thing is, I've seen this movie 3 times, and I always forget that Denise Richards is just his wife, for no reason. And then she just pops up at the end looking vaguely confused to be there.
I mean, I forgot she was a thing, until she popped up like, oh wait, Denise Richards still alive, that's nice.
Yeah, it's good to see her. I like Denise Richards. I have no beef with Denise Richards.
And we also have the brothers Lawrence in here. Andrew, Joey, and Matt, starring as respectively Iggy, the concierge, and the cowboy.
The cowboy. Oh, the cowboy.
We're just going to devolve into quoting this movie in a few minutes, I'm going to bet. So let's go into the plot of Money Plane, for starters. You're the expert. Tell myself and the audience, what is Money Plane about, Logan?
Well, Brett, Money Plane is about a plane, right? This plane, it deals in money. There is money on board, but there is also cryptocurrency on board. Money is used on the plane, but the plane also contains money. The purpose of the plane is money. Now, we open the film. Edge, He's a thief of some sort. He has a crew of ragtag thieves in the museum, not named. The museum job goes wrong. So Darius Grouch III, aka the Rumble, says if you want to be free of your criminal commitments and go live with Denise Richards and your little girl away from the pressures of the Rumble lifestyle, you have got to go onto the money plane from the money plane terminal and go on there and get some crypto fucking currency. Now, the plot actually becomes surprisingly convoluted for a movie set on the money plane in the middle and the second act. But what you need to know is that Edge is trying to liberate the cryptocurrency from both the money plane and from Darius Grouch III, the Rumble. It is an electrifying time at the motion pictures. I think we can both agree. Something about the money plane just brings me back every time. I could watch it again right now, and I've seen it 3 times this year.
We are skipping over several details of this movie, like...
Oh yeah, I was just being vague.
This art museum we talk about is an abandoned brick factory in the middle of Croatia.
Oh yeah, this is, okay, to properly illustrate Money Plane to everyone that hasn't seen it, and if you haven't, go see it. The thing about Money Plane is that it is the most, we need to save money on taxes, and we're going to devote the least amount of the money possible to making the movie. So all of it is set in weird green screens in the middle of Eastern Europe, with the exception of Kelsey-Grammer's actual house, and it looks like absolute dog shit all the time.
And the single plane segment they just redress with classic Plan 9 from Outer Space curtains in between each segment.
The curtains are so good. God, this movie's amazing.
Those are good quality curtains.
See, the thing is, right, is that every town hall in Britain looks the same, and there's always these red curtains at the back covering up a stage in every single one. No matter where you are in Britain, there is those red curtains, and I don't know anyone that's ever seen what's behind them, and that's the Money Plane energy. Money Plane has taken influence from British culture and put it into the fabric of the motion picture. And I am far from a British patriot, because we suck, but I respect that testament to an aspect of my lifestyle. And I have to respect them for representing the truth of what it's like to be a participant of the Money Plane. The thing about this film is that everyone is weird in it. Like, every performance is just strange. No one acts like a real person. Edge is trying to be like your conventional action hero, but he is completely not prepared for it. And every character actor around him is doing the weirdest shit possible.
Yeah, Edge is...
I'm in awe.
I would describe Edge as the wrong kind of aloof for this role.
Yeah, he's trying to be stoic and, like, measured, but it comes off like he doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, like, I would know atypical performances. I just recently finally caught up with Francis Ford Coppola's Rumblefish. And
great movie.
Mickey Rourke has an amazing style of aloof performance in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But Edge, Mr. Copeland, I'm not quite... Edge. Yeah, I'm trying to give him some professional standard to live up to, so it's... After all, this is Money Plane, where he's credited as Adam Copeland, directed by Andrew Lawrence. Not Andy Lawrence, but Andrew Lawrence.
Oh, this is a serious production, I forgot. So what were you saying about Mr. Copeland, aka Edge?
Okay, so, according to Wikipedia, the movie begins where he's attempting to steal a painting, which I don't remember them telling the title of, but according to Wikipedia, it's called The Disturbing Duckling?
That is not mentioned in the film. I would remember Adam Edge Copeland saying the phrase duckling. Like,
disturbing.
I would remember it. No, just the word duckling coming out of Edge's voice is just a deeply amusing thing to me.
Alright, so yeah, then as soon as the brick factory robbery goes wrong, he goes to Kelsey-Grammer, who was paid for a single day to sit in his vacation home that he needs to pay the mortgage of and smoke cigars and just rattle off random buzzword phrases
fucking
to
insane dialogue. Fucking insane. You want to bet on someone fucking an alligator? Money Plane.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, let's zoom in on that particular phrase. There is nothing that interesting going on board the Money Plane. Let's establish this beforehand.
No, wait, hold on. Halfway through the Money Plane, we get random videos of people getting murdered that they're betting on, and it goes crazy. The money plane does have its moments of complete lunacy. They just couldn't afford an alligator / crocodile. They just couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
because they didn't have any money. That was all on the plane.
I was watching this with my friend last night, and as soon as they mentioned that, we're like, oh boy, I can't wait to see the weird animals they're going to bring on board. And we even got excited. We're like, oh, you cannot interact with the, because one of the crew is on board disguised as a waitress? No.
As the stewardess.
Or a flight attendant?
Yeah, flight attendant, stewardess, yeah.
And, like, there's some creep who's like, I want to touch her improperly. Like, I'm sorry. And then...
With the southern accent?
Joey Lawrence, the concierge, like, I'm sorry, sir. They are employees. Do not. However, we do have several companions. And at one point, me and my brother were like, oh my god, is there going to be, like, an alligator in a dress? Like, please. Let them try and sneak an alligator on board in a dress. And like, oh, this movie's worth it. But no! It's like, come on!
You're having too much expectations for the money on Money Plane.
I don't think I'm expecting that much.
An alligator in a dress on an airplane is a little much. I'm gonna be honest with you. They have Thomas Jane money to spend. Oh, Thomas Jane in this movie. Thomas Jane is another person in this movie who needed a bit of extra cash, and turns up for like a day or two at most. And I love Thomas Jane, and I love him even more because he just frankly does not give a fuck. This is one of the most.
Thomas Jane is one of the ultimate budget actors who will still give you what you want.
The thing about Thomas Jane is that he is just undeniably one of the coolest guys in the business. You just look at that man and you see, yes, that is to me a movie star. He never became the top star he could have been, which sucks. But if this means he gets to be in more movies like Money Plane, I can't complain too hard.
I would say he's achieved character actor status at this point in his life.
Oh yeah, I mean like his weirdo appearances and stuff. It's just it's always beautiful, especially now that he's older. He's still very handsome, but he does have that kind of character actor handsomeness to him. Like he looks a bit broken down, which is why he fits Money Plane so well. There's a moment in his first conversation with Edge where he is a family friend / mercenary,
former Air Force pilot
/ now drone pilot, which he gets into later. But he just comes in.
We'll talk about that drone in a minute.
Oh, that drone is so fucking good. But the thing is about Thomas Jane in this film is that he is smoking, he is doing things, but there's the best thing ever. Is that I watched this for the first. Oh, we'll get to the pasta. But in that first conversation with him, so I was watching this with my friend for the first time a couple months ago, and we were on the Money Plane train immediately. But I just randomly said, eh. And then 5 seconds later, Thomas Jane looks at the camera and goes, eh. And both of us just fucking died. Like, we were laughing for 2 minutes straight off of Thomas Jane going, eh. And every single time I see this movie, the concept of Thomas Jane going, eh, in the middle of a sentence, for no reason, with no context, it kills me. And that's just Money Plane in a nutshell. It just does things because it feels like it. Like, what half of the movie that Edge is in, and he's the main character, is set the 6'5" man in this tiny cockpit where he can barely stand up.
This tiny green screen cockpit.
Yeah, just flying the plane. But the most fake cloud background of all time.
Let's talk about the opening dialogue where it's like, alright, there are 3 parts to a good heist. His plans suck because he forgets that there's a thing like a co-pilot. He forgets that co-pilots exist.
One of the best things about this motion picture is the whole concept is to steal the money from the Money Plane, but the money is cryptocurrency, and yet there's still physical money on the plane. And so their gesture is largely symbolic when they throw all the money at the plane, because most of it is on a laptop. And it's just because they needed a visual signifier of it. So they just got some random $100 bills and threw it out of the airlock. And that you can't script that. That is something that only happens when you're just really passionate about making a movie and you haven't thought anything out. Like, if you try and do that, it won't be the same. It is organic, low budget brilliance of, oh shit, we've really written ourselves into a corner. Ah, fuck it, who cares? It's beautiful. It legitimately, it gives me faith in modern cinema watching Money Play, because it is just so, it's so sincere and so funny and so committed to being askew, and I love it. I don't know how to explain it to other people, but I love it. People look at me weird when I say one of my favorite movies of the year is Money Plane. Actually, I'm gonna submit it for the film stage year-end poll. I'm gonna put it on there. I think I'll be the only person, but I'm committed to it.
You might be the only person who saw it.
Oh man, I gotta get Snidell to watch Money Plane.
Again, we're trying to get that damn watch party on Discord happening sooner or later. We just gotta get people to pay attention and hey, look at us.
The I will fucking join for Money Plane. I will watch Money Plane for a fourth time, happily. I don't care.
All right, so we get to the plane, and of course the Edge has his secret identity where he's
not the drummer from U2.
Yeah,
it's just
I'm
Edge.
sorry,
it's a mononym.
Edge, just Edge. Where he and his partner McGillicuddy, a black man named McGillicuddy. Get it? It's a joke. It's like
McGillicuddy. Okay,
so he's cosplaying as a human trafficker who dislikes when flight attendants are touched inappropriately, and he's called on this in the course of the film. And then we get to, gentlemen, welcome to the Money Plane, and we are going to. Okay. It's like no fights are allowed on the plane unless they're part of the bet.
Yeah.
So,
I think we need to comment, and I mentioned this slightly earlier, but the first shot of the airport is B-roll footage of a random airport in Eastern Europe. I think it's the same one they used for the Joseph Gordon-Levitt plane movie 7500. It looks very similar. And then the fucking text that pops up in the bottom left-hand corner, which just says Money Plane Terminal.
Undisclosed location.
Exactly. And the thing about the Money Plane is that it has no destination except for the Money Plane Terminal. So they just go in the air for 6 hours so they can do illegal gambling. And then they come back to the Money Plane Terminal. They're not even going anywhere. They're just going in a circle. Oh, I love this
Unless they need
movie.
to send assassins after Darius Crouch III. But,
oh, yeah. We'll get to that. Oh, there's so much to this movie. Oh, my God. There's so much.
Okay.
It's so good.
The first event is just Texas Hold'em poker.
Yeah.
It's Casino Royale, but Casino Quarter Pounder with cheese, I suppose.
There's all the fade-ins, the Microsoft PowerPoint style transitions with the definitely royalty-free music playing over it. It's very cheap. It's very cinematic. You know what you're seeing. You know what you're gonna get as soon as the first music starts playing. You're like, oh yeah, okay.
Yes, the pinnacle of stakes being raised in movies: The Hustler, The Sting, Money Plane.
You know what? I think Paul Newman would be proud of Money Plane if he saw it.
Newman's own Money Plane.
I mean, Newman was the king of hustling in cinema. I think he would respect how much they hustled money for taxes off of the United States government. This
was shot in Baton Rouge, so.
Oh, was it? You could have. I don't know. I could have sworn it was shot in
behind the scenes, they attempted
Romania.
to find funding to shoot in Romania
I just said Romania. Called it.
Well, they attempted to film in Romania and Toronto, but then they couldn't, so they moved it entirely to Baton Rouge, apparently.
Could they not afford Romania?
Apparently.
What? How? I think I could afford Romania.
The project's low budget and rushed schedule frequently required Lawrence to improvise and adjust shooting based on which sets were available.
Oh, I love this movie so much. That explains why there's just 10 minutes of him fucking around in the desert. Because that's what's there on the day.
Yeah, he didn't have any crew to set himself up with
some
GoPros
and a drone that he got one of his brothers to operate. But I think we need to go in depth for the Money Plane cast of characters. Because there's some wacky individuals on there.
So we have the 4 main crew members. We have Edge. We're just gonna call him Edge because that's who he's playing.
He is Edge. It's fine. The thing about Edge, before we go into the others, is that Edge is such a charismatic wrestling character. Like, he's one of the most charismatic wrestlers in history. And instead of leaning into that, they've just made him a really boring action hero, which is somehow even funnier than if he was just genuinely really charismatic. Like, it's just another weird, stilted thing in this weird, stilted movie.
It's like reverse Chuck Norris. Everyone assumes Chuck Norris is charismatic, but he's really not. We've just fooled ourselves into liking him for some reason, even though he brings nothing to most everything he touches.
I think that's a generational thing, because my generation only sees Chuck Norris as the meme, and some of us see him as the guy who pops up at the end of Dodgeball, a true underdog story. That was my
love for the
introduction to him.
Expendables 2.
Fucking Expendables 2. God, I've seen it so many times.
Hey, I like that one better than the first one because it has Van Damme.
Look. The thing about the first Expendables is that the first Expendables is dog shit, and the second one is also pretty bad, but it has Van Damme, yeah. And like some more Statham stuff.
The first one is Stone Cold. The second one has Van Damme.
I love Stone Cold.
And the lesser Hemsworth.
Oh yeah, the third one has Ronda Rousey for some reason, which she's terrible in it. I don't know why they put her in it, but I mean, good for her, I guess.
So anyway, the cast of characters of Money Plane.
Okay, so there's the main
Edge.
crew. Edge.
Yeah.
We have
Edge,
the one woman.
McGillicuddy, flight attendant, and Iggy. Iggy, who is played by the director and is stuck on the ground.
He just didn't want to go in the money plane. I like thinking that he was too busy on the money plane, like obsessing over the finer details behind the scenes. Like he was just like, he needs the curtains to look exactly right. He needs the poker to look good. He needs all the people to be perfect. He's just too much of a perfectionist on the money plane to be on front of the camera.
I also like how Edge has such sway that he can violate the security protocols of the money plane and find a role for one of his crew members on the flight crew. But he can't find room for Iggy on there. It's like, okay, first of all, this money plane security system fucking sucks.
I don't understand how the money plane works. Truly, the money plane is this fucking enigma.
Well, because they promise us so much and they don't deliver. It's like, where's this alligator fornication I was promised?
No, but the thing about it is that it does deliver, but it delivers so... Like, the arc of Edge's character. So Edge is on the money plane to liberate himself from Kelsey-Grammer, a.k.a. Darius Curse III, a.k.a. The Rumble. To liberate himself because of the deal gone wrong. But then he just says, nah, fuck this, I'm taking over the money plane. And he gets him killed because he manages to work up Darius Curse III, The Rumble, into like saying some very derogatory things about the people that run the money plane. And even with the end of the movie, there's cryptocurrency redistributed, but the money plane is not done. The money plane is still an ongoing thing. The money plane will come back. Like, it's just, there's so many weird narrative arcs to this. Like, McGillicuddy is just, he's constantly anxious all the time. Like, he's on the verge of, like, basically shitting himself to death the whole movie. Like, he looks like he's gonna throw up or shit his pants, especially when he's forced into gambling on, like, the human lives and shit, when the concierge is being really enthusiastic, and it cuts to him reacting to, like, videos of murder, and he's just like, and this is the comedy of the movie, because there's intentional comedy in it, like with the cowboy, which, oh boy, the cowboy.
Oh yes, the third Lawrence brother, Matthew Lawrence, as the cowboy. Okay, so when we started watching this, we come to that. There's like this other character who has a henchman on the plane who's like the skeevy little sumbitch type character, and when somebody popped up, my friend was like, "That's a terrible fake mustache," and I, whom aware of this, was like, "Oh, you haven't seen a fake mustache yet, sir." And as soon as the cowboy is properly introduced in the second set of games, that is Russian Roulette.
Oh, the Russian Roulette scene.
It's just, God. I guess you could claim the Russian Roulette scene is a example of quiet escalation, but screw quiet and throw quiet out the window and just have it be zany.
The Russian Roulette scene is the most intentionally funny scene in the whole film. Like, it is aiming for comedy, and it succeeds. So the cowboy is he has a cowboy hat on. He has this. He is the fakest Texan of all time. He is so exaggerated. You know those people that do like the exaggerated French accents that are so exaggerated it comes back around to seeming kind of real? That's almost what he's doing, but he goes like around the loop like twice. Like, it's so exaggerated it almost comes back to being almost realistic, and then he just pushes it even further. Like, every single line is even more Texan than the last. It's amazing.
I mean, his final line is the greatest line of all cinema history.
Oh, I need to hear it again. Give me your rendition of it, please.
Give me the gun!
Give me that enthusiasm.
I can't lose!
It's so good.
Bam! It's like, oh no.
So it is the balance between McGillicuddy, who's already been established as anxious king, and he is being forced into Russian roulette, and he doesn't know how to say no to it. And he draws the gun first, and the concierge is just trying to push the gun on him. And then the cowboy's like, nah, I can handle this. I've been doing this for years and no one can beat me. And he just fucking clicks the gun and puts it in his mouth and just blows his brains out. And it is perfectly comedically timed. It is a flawless gag. I'm laughing thinking about it. It's so funny because it's just, and it cuts back to McGillicuddy's face, and he just looks so fucking shook, like he is mesmerized, and the concierge is just like, oh well,
we have a winner.
We won, yeah, and he's just happy that the money plane has claimed another victim, and they just
also
clean it up like nothing happened.
The concierge has a useless character backstory, and that he's a pilot, and that never comes up.
Like, you'd think that maybe he would come to fly the plane and then interact with Edge, who has gatecrashed the plane, but...
No? Yeah, we forget to mention that this entire scene is only there because Edge is too busy forgetting that co-pilots exist while he breaks into the front of the plane.
Okay, the thing about the money plane is that he goes to fight the guy in the money plane, but as established earlier, Edge is 6'5". He is too large to be in this, and yet his one hand-to-hand combat scene... The professional wrestler who knows how to make that look good is in a fucking cramped room. He's having to duck his head. He's throwing terrible punches because he can't actually hit him. Like, they can barely move around each other. They're smacking each other with fake things, but they can't use the environment because it's too fake and it'll fall apart. It's next level funny. Like, it is one of the funniest movie fight scenes I've seen in a long time.
Right the first time.
No, he doesn't. He comes back to try and choke him, and he has to choke him out. And, like, the whole time, his ponytail remains immaculate. Which is just incredible.
He choke him out. He bashed his face in on one of, like, the other, like, air jockeys.
It doesn't look real, because, again, the fact is that the stick is too fake, so they have to, like, awkwardly cut around it. It's beautiful. I love shit like this so much. Like, the thing is, there's millions of movies that are like cheap action films made for tax purposes. But there's the special breed. And the number one is the ones with Nicolas Cage, obviously. They're all special in their own way. But the second is the ones starring random wrestlers. Like, there are so many cheapo wrestler action movies. And I think Money Plane is maybe the funniest of all of them. Because... it's a movie called Money Plane. Like, I can't stress enough that they called the movie Money Plane. It is a movie that it's called Money Plane. It's about a money plane. And it has Kelsey-Grammer in it as the Rumble. Like,
Chief of Rumble Corp.
It's just so funny. Like, it's just called Money Plane.
Alright, so we skip forward past the first couple events where eventually there's like a cobra introduced where some guy's trapped inside of a room with a cobra and McGillicuddy unintentionally guesses the right bet.
Yeah, he's really good at it. He's really good at betting the deaths of people.
We got the cobra. We got the random Russian dudes who are drinking beer, and then one of them randomly pulls out a cleaver.
They are all that's an iconic moment. Like, clearly they couldn't film anywhere. They're clearly not Russian, Like they're trying so hard to pretend to be.
Svidanya! Hey!
Vodka! No. And then it's just like they clearly just found like some like vaguely European looking dudes and was just like,
yeah, just Eurotrash.
Can you just say some Russian phrases? It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to make sense. It's I don't know. I love that kind of shit. Like the only thing better than real Eastern Europeans in your movie that you had to make in Eastern Europe because of tax purposes is fake Europeans you get in America because you couldn't afford Romania. Oh, I love this movie.
And then McGillicuddy escapes, where he's immediately accosted by the companions in the hallway. And like, oh, hi, handsome. Hello there. He's like, oh, no, sorry. Excuse me, ladies. I'm blushing.
Yeah, McGillicuddy has... Oh, McGillicuddy gets so fucked up. Like, this man has emotional trauma from the money plane. Like, this dude's gonna need therapy. Like, he almost died, like, 3 times. He had to deal with some truly heinous individuals. Like, 3 different people tried to fuck him. Like, McGillicuddy went through it. Like, he just wants to go home and, like, drink some chamomile tea. He wants to get away from the money plane and the havoc that the Rumble's repercussions have inflicted upon him. It's... I honestly feel bad for him. I don't really feel bad for Flight Attendant because she is objectively the most badass person in this movie.
Like, I mean, yeah, but she's blandly capable. It's like, she's not like, interesting.
The thing is, it's very much we need one woman in the movie, and we're gonna make her all the tropes of like tough action chick, where she dresses up in the outfits of conventional femininity, and then she just says, "No, fuck you. I don't need your chauvinism," and then she'll like beat the shit out of a big dude in like the hallway, and I'm down for that. But it's very man writing, like a tough female character, and isn't she could be funnier is what I'm gonna say. She could be funnier, but she is still quite funny because she clearly does not know how to throw a kick, so her kicks are so weak, and that's always very funny to me. Like. I'm assuming you've seen the Batman trailer, the Robert Pattinson one.
Oh yeah.
So you know at the end of that the trailer, where he's just punching the dude, that to me is one of the funniest things I've seen all year because it is clear that Robert Pattinson has never thrown a punch in his life, and this woman has very similar energy of she has clearly never done anything close to fighting, and so she's just kind of flailing her limbs to see what sticks. And I love that shit. Give me it. That's what I want to see from Money Plane. Like, I would honestly be disappointed if she knew how to fight. What were you saying, sorry?
Yeah, she has a lot of Diet Michelle Dockery energy going for her in this movie.
Oh, yeah, I can see that, yeah. Like, the thing about her is that she seems like she's acting like she's in something like The Spy Who Dumped Me. Like, she's giving one of those performances. No. Whereas everyone else is just like, I don't know what to tell you. Money Plane.
Money Plane.
Yeah, Money Plane.
Money Plane.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you can't really describe kelsey-grammer in this movie by anything else but Money Plane. Like, that's the vibe he's going for.
All right, like, speaking of kelsey-grammer, meanwhile, while this is going up above in the Money Plane, he's torturing some poor guy on the ground, and he's saying like, "Don't piss yourself. How dare you?" Ah.
He's smoking cigars while doing it. He's listening to trap beats as well. We can't forget about that. And he's talking about being Darius Grouch III, the Rumble. And he's going to take down the
He's
Money
demanding
Plane.
nicknames while he's talking to Edge up in the other.
Oh yeah. He's just randomly like having phone calls with Edge like while he's flying the Money Plane just to keep him updated. It's like he's talking like he's lonely and needs companionship from Edge. It's weird. There's a weird dynamic between these two. I respect it. Oh god.
And I've seen a lot of cheap kelsey-grammer movies. I saw, what was it? It was like Lost Treasure of the Tomb a couple years ago. There was something like that where it was like in a mummy ripoff type movie where like, oh, these foolhardy explorers are exploring the lost tomb, and there's
I love mummy ripoffs.
Yeah, there's one with Kelsey-Grammer. It's like, yeah, Kelsey-Grammer is chewing all the scenery, but then he leaves right at the halfway point, like, well, this movie's very bland for us this time. Jesus Christ, what happened to Kelsey-Grammer? And they end the movie proper by cutting back to his corpse right before the credits roll. I'm like, okay, they knew where the money shots were.
Damn. Have you seen Grand Isle with him and Nicolas Cage?
No, but I've heard about it.
Oh, you got it. That's the only movie this year that is as funny as Money Plane. Like, Kelsey-Grammer and Nicolas Cage both have Louisiana accents. This is a trend this year. And Grand Isle is just mesmerizing. Like, Grand Isle is one of the rare movies that peaks in funny in its end credits. I fell on the floor laughing in the theater because of the end credits of Grand Isle. It was a transcendent moment this year. It's the best. Like, obviously, it's going to be a while before I am at a cinema again. So it's the best theatrical experience I've had in a long time. I love that shit. I think you would appreciate Grand Isle for the cheapo values, the ham, the camp, the comedy,
the grammar.
The grammar. Oh, grammar's so good. Oh, grammar is just... The thing is that grammar, to me, if he's in your movie and that movie looks like it was made by like 8 different offshore accounts working together, then I need to see it because it's gonna be funny. He is going to commit to it.
Well,
because it's just what he does now.
Then you got to go to his direct-to-video section on his IMDb.
Oh, hell yeah! I might have to do a binge. I might have to.
In upcoming next, Logan's 5th podcast, the Kelsey-Grammer cast.
Look, all I'm saying is, I'm considering it.
So the Money Plane, they eventually break into the servers. There's a fight scene where one dude is shivved a lot with a broken bottle, and another dude is just electrocuted by these totally electrical servers in this room.
Oh yeah, he is selling it. He is selling it, all right. You know, like when you're a kid and you're playing games, like I used to play like imaginary game like Spider-Man and Electro and shit.
Oh yeah.
So when you're Electro and you zap the kid and they go zzz, 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 that's what he's doing. He's literally doing playground Electro acting. Like, it's amazing. Like, the thing is, like, when I think of like good performances, sometimes when I think of good performances, I want that kind of like inhibition and freedom from acting. Like, you're just enjoying portraying a character in a role like you were when you were a kid and you're playing like pretend. And that's what Money Plane has. Money Plane has that kind of childhood exuberance of performance. Like, everyone is just having a good time playing like characters like they're like playing dress up as a kid, like they're playing like a cowboy game. And it's beautiful. And it's poetic, and it's very, very funny. And
I mean, fair.
I love performances like that. Like, sometimes bad acting is like the best acting.
Oh yeah, especially when it's the only redeeming quality of a movie. It's like, you know what, this movie's bad, but hey, Nicolas Cage is here and he's doing things.
Oh, that's like The Wicker Man in a nutshell. That movie is just endlessly compelling because of him. I need to rewatch that actually.
So the Money Plane.
Money Plane. Do we talk about Thomas Jane now?
Let's talk about his drone antics
Oh,
and his
okay.
pasta making.
Okay, so Thomas Jane's basically his role in this movie. We've talked about the but so what he's doing on the ground is he's looking after Edge's daughter and shit, and he's playing video games with her. Clearly not real video games. And then he's making some pasta. He's making some spaghetti. It looks pretty nice. I believe Thomas Jane is a really good chef. I believe that he knows how to cook in real life. I feel like Thomas Jane would whip you up a great meal, and you would have a great time, and you would go to bed feeling satisfied. In more ways than one. But Thomas Jane, he realizes that, oh shit, some people are breaking into the house. What if I just pull out this gun and have the most comically fake, like, muzzle, like, video effect and sound effect I've ever heard in my life. These are some of the most fake guns I've ever seen in a film.
Okay, first of all, the first scene where he appears, when he invades Edge's porch, when they cut to Edge pulling out the gun, I spotted the yellow tape underneath the muzzle that marks it as a prop. I'm like,
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, that's what I want from the movies, man. That's what I want from the movies.
And this basic, it's the scene from the first John Wick movie where they invade his house, and it's just that, but with Thomas Jane.
It literally is
and
that,
like
and
it's
so much cheaper. Oh, God, but it's so... The thing about Thomas Jane, he's the only one in the fight scene who looks like he knows what he's doing, which is, again, because Edge's only real fight scene is in a fucking cramped, fake cockpit. But Thomas Jane, he is moving with confidence. He is moving with bored, like, swagger. Like, he knows that he knows how to do it. He's done this before. He doesn't really care. But he's good enough that he still makes it look cool. And then he takes his video game knowledge and mixes it with his piloting. And just fucking gets a drone. And starts using the drone to machine gun people.
He tapes a pistol to a drone.
He loves cinema. I love it so much. Like, the people that are attacking Andrew Lawrence, the director of this movie, in the desert, and he just comes and saves his ass with the drone. Like, it's just such a random cutaway. The context for why they're hunting him down when he's the tech support guy is it's a bit bare bones, to be honest. Like a lot of this movie.
They know too much. I'm Darius Crouch the Third.
He just says, "Fuck it." Well, like I don't need to have a motivation. I could just be Joker-fied and just order people to die. Like he just orders a guy to get disposed of. Then the guy and his like henchman shoots him in the head or something. He's just like, not like that. But hey, he's alright. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Clean the body up. And then, at the end, his final scene, he just gets a fucking machine gun and prepares for the annihilation of Darius Crouch III, the Rumble. And he's just so... Like, he's going full Tony Montana at the end. But obviously they don't see anything because they don't have anybody. But, like, he is that committed to it. It's beautiful. I love it. Oh, I love this movie so much. Oh,
it's a special slice of cinema. And,
oh, we can't forget about the ending, though. Where,
which part?
Oh, the fucking, like, the epilogue. Like, after everything's concluded, it cuts to, like, fucking Hallmark Channel-ass aesthetics.
With the,
Edge.
Wait, we're talking about after the duck slipping the movers off?
Oh, yeah. So, we're talking about him with his family, with the long hair, just chilling, with the constant cuts to random, Denise Richards looking confused. He's got the long hair, he's got the painting, he's satisfied in his life, the money plays behind him, but the way it's filmed and the way it's scored is just the most fake thing ever. Like, somehow, him sitting in, like, his back garden looks less real than the cockpit and the money plane, because of the weird filters and music they've got to it. Like, they've made the epilogue feel like the fucking fake ending of The Descent. Like, it's just clearly not real. Like a fabric, an illusion. Obviously, Money Plane is beyond fake outs. Like, it doesn't need them. It realizes that what you see is what you get, and that's what you need for Money Plane. But it is almost so convincing as this weird, like, almost Lynchian portrayal of fake suburban, like, contentment, that if they'd pulled the rug on it, it would have been, like, a mesmerizing moment. Like, it's almost, like, you know, like, the ending of Blue Velvet?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that, but very, very dumb. But it has the same energy to me of, like, it's such a mesmerizing portrait that if you could pull the rug back right at any second, it would make perfect sense.
All of a sudden, dog. There is dog.
Yeah.
Pet dog.
All of a sudden, oh shit, the money plane's back. He's gotta go back on it. Fuck. He thought he escaped it, but the money plane has hunted him down.
My buddy, we were watching this last night, and he was anxiously awaiting the entire movie. Like, okay, the end of this movie has to be them crashing the money plane into Darius Crouch's mansion, right? I'm like,
oh, I really wanted them to do that, but again, they didn't have the money for it because it was all on the plane. The thing about this movie that you gotta understand, if you haven't seen Money Plane, you need to understand that like 10% of it is B-roll, but it's clearly not
15%.
It's like that amount. But the thing about it that's even better is it's definitely not B-roll that they filmed. It's B-roll they like got from like a website. Like they did not, like Andrew Lawrence did not send his team out to film B-roll on the streets. That's not what happened.
Oh,
what happened
when the movie began, I didn't know Denise Richards was going to show up, and I saw when Mr. Rumble is showing up, I've got these pictures of your family. They're going to be danger. I was like, oh no, my Shutterstock family. How could you? No.
It's just such a picture. It's so mesmerizing. I love it. It's one of my favorite films of the year. Like I don't need like your Oscar cinema. I don't need your critical acclaimed shit. You can save me your Toronto International Film Festival raves. Sometimes all you need is a wrestler on the money plane dealing with his boss Kelsey-Grammer, who happens to be the Rumble, and who loves to talk about fucking an alligator on the money plane. If this hasn't sold you on watching Money Plane, I don't know what will. Just, if you haven't seen it, you got it. It's only, what, like £3 to rent or something? It cannot be expensive.
It's free on Hulu. It's with subscription to Hulu over here, as well as on the library subscription service Hoopla for free.
Then if you have Hulu in America, you have no excuse. It's like 90 minutes long. Go watch it.
But Logan, what is your favorite part of Money Plane besides Money Plane?
Oh god, I think my favorite part has to be when he rents Kelsey-Grammer's final main rant to Edge, where he drops the Darius Gers III the Rumble, and he is going to bring down the money plane. That is just euphoric. I think that's my favorite.
Big Fred Jones in Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed energy.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Also has some Seth Green in Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed energy. Where, you know the bit on the street where he just randomly screams at Shaggy and Scooby like, ah! That's Kelsey-Grammer's final scene with the machine gun. It's just like, ah! It's beautiful. God, I just watched it, but I want to see Money Plane again.
Yeah, my favorite part has to be the cowboy. I love that
the cowboy
entire
is
scene.
so fucking good. He's so
Matthew
committed.
Lawrence going for that indie spirit supporting actor award.
The thing is, I didn't know that he was the brother of the director, and that makes it even better.
He's the second brother of the director, because the concierge is the other brother of the
The
director.
concierge is one of the best things about the movie.
And his
the
hair
concierge
plugs.
is so. Oh yeah, he's on that. Like the concierge has like huge. We really wanted Ben Horn from Twin Peaks. But he is old, and he is expensive, and he is too good for this shit. So we're gonna make him look as much like Ben Horn as possible. And they did not succeed at all. Oh, fuck.
No, but because he's still Joey Lawrence, the I believe it was on the fourth season of Dancing with the Stars over here.
Okay. I can't look at an older man and think his name is Joey. Like, what?
Well, now he goes by Joseph Lawrence, of course.
You're Joseph, yeah, or Joe. Joey. Like, come on. That is a name for small Italian American children and sitcom characters. That's not
and
a real
Joey Fatone.
I cannot remember who that is.
He's one of the other members of NSYNC that wasn't Justin Timberlake.
Was Lance Bass in
Yes.
sync? Okay, that's what I thought. The thing is, I was always a Backstreet person, but I can't name any of them.
Yeah, dog.
Like, Nick? Is that Backstreet? It wasn't my era. I just really I want it that way because of the Magic Mike XXL scene.
Well,
like that.
yes, of course.
It's a classic.
Yeah, Lance Bass was NSYNC. Justin, Joey Fatone. I'm sorry,
God.
it's spelled Fat One. He is the fat one.
Was he fat?
No, he was very Sandler-like. He was very mid-tier Sandler size.
Oh, okay. So you could see him in the baseball cap and the pink shirt and shit. Okay.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I'm with you. The Backstreet was the superior boy band that NSYNC only had bigger hits.
Well,
So.
the thing is, as I can remember 5 Backstreet songs, even though I didn't grow up with the Backstreet Boys. I've heard a bunch of NSYNC, but I can't sing you the melody of any of them. I'm sure all 90s kids can, but I'm not one. So, in speaking as a Gen Z person, when you listen to the music now, the Backstreet are just clearly better. They got the better dance routines, they got the better hooks, they've got the better vocalists. Even though Justin, great solo career, but him shedding the boy band was a good decision for him.
Him
Whereas,
and those ramen noodle hair he had back in the day.
oh god, it was not a look. Oh, the early 2000s was a lawless time for men's fashion.
Frosted
truly
tips.
lawless.
Frosted tips
fucking
everywhere.
tips. Oh god. Like, my hair's pretty long, so I couldn't do that if I wanted to, but if I ever, like, do that, if I try and bring it back, you have permission to, like, put me in the fucking Russian roulette scene in Money Plane. And let me play along with the cowboy.
I can't lose!
It's so good.
You're really good!
Oh my god, I fucking... It's the new release I've seen the most times this year. And I'm very grateful for that. I think it's wonderful.
Well, I'm glad I convinced you to bring it to the podcast, but we're going to have to put the Money Plane in the hangar for now. As we move on,
back at the Money Plane terminal.
Yep, as we move on to a movie with very similar properties, for my sake anyway. This was your
pick.
Yeah, this is the movie I have seen the most this year. I have seen this movie 4 times this year alone because...
I respect it.
Let's face it, 2020's been a time, and
oh yeah,
I need any sense of joy I can wring out of anything, so I suggest we pair this up with another budgeted movie.
Oh yeah,
from the early 2000s. I will say, Money Plane has a lot of early 2000s energy in its DNA.
That's why I love it. That's a big reason why I love it. Like, the thing is that if Money Plane hadn't come out this year, I would have reviewed it just saying they don't make them like this anymore. Because they don't. They really don't.
Last year, Logan.
I know, but like, it's not streaming era cinema. It's direct to DVD era cinema, which is the best kind.
This is Dollar Tree bin cinema that you
and
find
that's what
next to.
Look, that's what I love from movies. I love cheapo things you find on DVD. That's how I fell in love with cinema.
But that brings us to the 2001 independent sci-fi parody directed by Larry Blamire called The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. Now, I brought this one to the table, so I'll start describing it. The film takes place in 1961, totally 1961, guys, where a scientist, in case you didn't catch, he's a scientist, Dr. Paul Armstrong and his wife are driving into the mountains searching for a meteorite made of atmospherium, the most legendary and rare of all elements. Meanwhile,
that made me laugh.
Another renegade scientist, Roger Fleming, is searching for a lost skeleton in Kadabra Cave, which happens to be just across the way from the cabin that Betty and Paul are staying in. That evening, they run into a Ranger Brad, as well as a farmer, who gives them directions through all the debilitating surroundings. And even added into this mix are 2 aliens, Crowbar and Lattice, who are from the planet Marva, and not from Earth, but are now stranded on Earth, away from their planet Marva, in search of atmospherium in order to repair their powerless ship and retrieve their pet mutant, which is also powered by atmospherium, and escaped while they crash-landed on Earth. Meanwhile, Dr. Roger Fleming gets lonely and forms himself a partner in the form of Annie Mala, and then the skeleton comes into play and starts insulting everybody, and then dancing, and more dancing. And then the wedding of the bride of the lost skeleton comes into play, and that's where I'm going to leave the description of The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra.
Look, I honestly, when you first brought this movie up, I thought it, like, cause I'm pretty sure you mentioned it on trivia night, and I thought you'd made it up.
Nope.
Like, I thought it was a joke.
No.
And then you brought it to me with the podcast. You give me another option. I can't remember what it was, and
The Octopus from the an authentic 1930s sort of comedic riff on the idea of the lighthouse, but it was made 80 years before the lighthouse. So
yeah, and that sounds interesting. But when I heard like this weird thing, I was like, I will never. This is a movie that I would have probably never seen under any other context but this specific show. And I like stuff like that because it's pushing me outside of my conventional comfort zone.
Yeah, it's things that most cinema goers will not see.
I had never heard of it. I had never heard of it. It's not really my field of expertise. I never really grew up with that kind of era of like loving prestige of that era of science fiction. Like, it was never really my time, never really my scene. So watching it as an outsider is just very fascinating. And I had a lot of fun. And this is a fun movie. Like,
why thank you.
I don't know the details of the exact things it's like parodying, because I've not actually seen that much 50s sci-fi. But as a like a standalone thing,
I have recommendations.
I will take them. I love sci-fi is my go-to genre. So I do need to see more.
Yeah, I was so worried because this movie can go one of two ways. Either you can immediately get on its wavelength and start laughing with it, or you can just sit there stone-faced like. I showed this to my mother a couple of months ago, and she was like, "Wow, this movie's awful." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's kind of the point."
I remember like the first girlfriend I ever dated. She came over to my house and we put Netflix on, and we were chilling in my bed. And this was before we were like officially dating. So it was that kind of awkward stage. And she insisted that I put the movie on. And I didn't know what to pick, so I went with a guaranteed classic, is what I thought. Wet Hot American Summer. And I love Wet Hot American Summer. I've seen Wet Hot American Summer a dozen times. I can quote it all the time. I love that movie. She fucking sat there, not laughing once, staring at it with blank face, fucking hating every second of it. And I felt weird about laughing at it, because it was such an awkward experience in the room. And that is what I imagine watching this movie with another person who is not on its wavelength is like. Just that constant, oh no, I've made a huge mistake programming this. But I was sold on it as soon as Ranger Brad turned up. Ranger Brad is fucking hilarious.
Ranger Brad and his interaction with Dr. Roger Fleming. I mean, Rudolph Jaeber. I mean...
The thing is, I'm a simple guy, right? The things I find funny are very simple. The fact that he just goes by Ranger Brad is very funny to me. Like, he's just called that.
Oh, Logan, there's a sequel, and his cousin Jungle Brad comes into the movie. Jungle Brad.
Oh, man.
Oh, say, you don't believe those old legends about the Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, do you? Ranger Brad, I'm a scientist. I don't believe in anything.
Yeah, he really is committed. Like, the scientist is pretty much like... He's pretty much Flea in the Big Lebowski.
Three, technically.
Fucking the nihilist one.
Yeah, the bad scientist. We'll call him
the Flea and Big Lebowski scientist thing. I'm thinking about Flea a lot because he keeps coming up on trivia night. It's almost every week at this point.
Fun fact: the guy who plays the bad scientist, he was actually the stockbroker that gets Will Smith a job in The Pursuit of Happiness. Apparently, that's his biggest role to date.
Not the fucking Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, I hate that movie. So, like, I always didn't like it, but when you have to watch it for like in high school,
you get it's an inspirational movie to make you feel good about life. Like, no,
I got in trouble. The thing is, I was like, when you're like 14 and you're into movies. And you have to watch movies, and you're autistic, you're like, I can't take this shit. This movie stinks. I got in trouble because I kept shitting on it in class. Like, after it was over,
this
when
movie's
we were
garbage.
talking about it, I just kept shitting on it. Like, the inspiration of he left his kid in a homeless shelter so he could go fucking be a stockbroker and do Rubik's Cubes instead of getting a job. Like, a real job. When he can. Like, he's not, like... economically disenfranchised. He's just a fucking moron who spent all his money on heart machines.
Hollywood's shittiest visual storytelling shorthand.
Oh, God. Look, I don't care if you can do a Rubik's Cube. Wow. Hundreds of people can do that. Thousands of people can do that. There's like a whole strategy for it. Cool. Do you know what you could be doing instead? Looking after your son.
You could just hand off that Rubik's Cube to Spider-Man Noir. That'll give it that Rubik's Cube a fucking use.
God, Spider-Man Noir kicks ass.
Yeah, speaking of stage. But anyway, The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. I fucking love this movie. This movie brings me so much joy just because of... It's such an odd atmosphere of... You're thrown into it expecting it to be like, oh, it's just an honest science fiction movie. But then the dialogue starts. And how many times is the word science or scientist uttered in this movie, Logan? Did you keep track?
I did not keep track, but I did keep track of how many times the phrase Earth was used in the aliens' conversations. That's
not even their favorite phrase in this movie, Logan.
I know, but they love talking about being of Earth.
Earth. Your Earth things. But my favorite of their phrases that keeps coming up. Oh, well.
They just... The fucking male alien... I can't remember which one it's
Crowbar.
called. Crowbar. That's what I thought. Crowbar? This motherfucker, he doesn't know how to read the room. He is slipping.
I will say, I think he is the standout actor of the bunch because he is dedicating to this gag of, okay, I don't know, he's the ultimate fish out of water, and he is going.
He's going full Alan Rickman levels of grumpy. Like, he is just so it's such a committed performance. Like, did you ever watch, like, in school, like, the old VHSs of PSAs? Like, the really fucking freaky ones that are crazy low budget and with terrible performances. Like, the serious ones, like, about, like, the heroin or the one I remember. The one I remember from
well, you're
from
in
my
Scotland.
high school.
According to you, they used heroin as currency over there.
Oh yeah, it's just like it's a publicly traded currency. You go on the stock market, you can buy heroin stocks. It's great. But like the one that I remember from high school was playing on construction sites and the dangers of playing on construction sites. And there's always this one serious guy who is just really traumatized by the playing on construction sites. Like, he looks at the camera and says, "I almost lost an arm to the construction sites. I was not safe on there. I was a stupid kid." And it has the same kind of energy because there's terrible actors as this guy, but he's doing it on purpose. And it's this weird blend of, this is very bad, kind of, but it's also good, but it's trying to be bad while succeeding at it, while also being good. It's like a very strange metatextual film. Like, it's it's so endearing. Like, like, there's a lot of parody that comes off as mocking. This is clearly made by people that are nerds over this shit.
Oh yeah, and actually, this was filmed in a famous Los Angeles era location called Bronson Canyon, which is also where they shot the Batcave for the original Batman TV show back in the 60s.
I knew I recognized that location. Fuck.
Yeah, that cave that is on the road, that is the Batcave from the 1960s.
I fucking love 60s Batman. I fucking love that shit.
Oh yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's like, yeah, this is
oh, it's not
Batman
my favorite
history.
Either,
this is Batman history for you. And Vincent Price makes an appearance. It's like, oh hell yeah!
Like the first Batman movies, I saw that so many times as a kid. The fucking Bowie. That's how you say it, Bowie. Like the shark repellent spray. The fucking torpedoes. The bomb. Torpedoes the bomb. Fucking Cesar Romero. Oh, there's all this. The supervillains just hanging out in their lair, just being, how could we ruin the Batman? I love that shit. Like,
also, we have to bring up the title character.
Oh, the skeleton's so good.
Stop that giggling. It makes me uncomfortable.
The fucking shit he talks like when he first started talking about how he doesn't have a body. He's got the mind of the skeleton, but he's not complete yet. And he's talking about it like he's a dipshit
His
for
skeleton
thinking.
brain.
Yeah, he's a dipshit for thinking he'll just be like a normal guy when he's just a skeleton. Like, he's just shitting on him.
That is how stupid you are.
He just fucking shits on this guy the whole time. It's great.
It's because ever since he was a boy, Dr. Roger Filling was hated by skeletons. Even as a child, he was hated by skeletons.
The skeletons were fucking cruel. They bullied the shit out of him. This motherfucker was out here in like the fucking 1940s, 30s bathrooms, getting like dunked by the skeletons. Like, he was getting like hung up to dry. Like, the fucking wedgies from the unburied skeleton in the graveyard.
You got his underpants on the flagpole, but with him attached to them up the flagpole.
Yeah, exactly. God. That's one of the weirdest things about America is the flagpole things. Like, they're just everywhere. I don't understand it.
But the second best character in The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra is Annie Mala, the single sexiest Catwoman who actually isn't Catwoman.
I don't know how, honestly, there was a certain point in the movie where I stopped really intaking new information because I was befuddled by it. But in a really amusing way.
Was it the rock dance?
It was the dancing. That was the bit where I just kind of went, I am sleepy.
Stop. You don't want my wife to get in here.
I am confused.
She can be a real dance with Annie Mala.
fucking dancing, it goes on for so long. Like,
the music follows them out into the woods.
okay, right. So, have you seen the 1993 film Green Snake? The Hark film.
Green Snake.
Yeah, it's wuxia. It's fucking great. But I watched that.
I'll have to look this one up. I haven't even heard of this. 1993?
It's very fucking good. It's Maggie Cheung. It's this weird ass wuxia. It's so fucking visually experimental. I feel like you would dig it. It's great. But there's a middle of the movie in this fucking critically acclaimed beloved wuxia where it's just fucking 5 minutes of weird belly dancing filmed with weird early 90s filters, and it goes on forever. And I saw both these movies today. So it was such a strange running thread of films today. Just weird elongated sequences of dancing in the middle of a film that really doesn't need it, that wouldn't really lose much if it was gone. But it adds this kind of like cerebral strangeness to the fact that it's there. Like it makes the film like it feels like I imagined it. Like it feels like I made it up. Like a
fever dream.
Yeah. And I'm pretty tired. So it's just that kind of thing of, what the fuck am I watching? And I'm having a good time.
That's like the third movie I've heard of in the past month that has that type of plot description. Oh, an animal's turned into human. Because apparently, the woman from Game of Thrones, the one who plays like a magician, Carice Van Houten, she was also in the Sean Bean movie Black Death.
Oh, yeah.
Her breakout movie was about a cat that's turned into a young woman who helps a journalist protect she's like turned into a human, and she was like, and the woman Carice Van Houten was like nominated for like several prestigious awards for this kids movie about a cat turned into a woman. It's like what?
The fucking Dutch, man. The Dutch have fascinating filmographies.
It looks like the title is Minnows, but I guess it's pronounced Minways or something. It's Dutch, so God knows.
It doesn't matter. It's fine. They don't care.
Anyway, Dr. Paul Armstrong and his beloved and his true love, that of science.
Oh my god, the fucking they're just what's the element called again? Because
Atmospherium, the rogue cousin of unobtainium.
The fucking one of the early scenes where the woman with him is looking at the window at a meteor and is like, "Oh, is that your meteor?" And he just looks at her like, "The meteor that I'm looking for it's already happened. It's already in the ground. Are you dumb? Are you fucking stupid?" Like, he's just so clearly dismissive of this woman. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to be away from her.
There are two side jokes that I want to point out to that scene, because we have the ultimate dismissive culminating in her getting hypnotized by the skeleton and the aliens, which prompts her brain overloads and she faints after picking up the meteor on its little dinner plate apparatus. And she's like, "Oh man, what happened?" And there's Paul like, "Oh, it's okay, honey. You were just doing some really stupid things."
He fucking shits on her so hard. Like,
and then, but that first scene, it ends with one of my favorite jokes in the movie, where it's like, I wonder. Cut to Dr. Yaber / Roger out on the woods. I also wonder.
I just like, this is like, you have an experience with the tropes, the settings, the kind of like low budget cheapo sci-fi from this period that it's riffing on. You have the knowledge, you have the intricacies. I came into this very, very blind. I had never heard of it before you brought it up. I had no idea what it was about. I presumed it had to do with skeleton, but it could have been one of those titles that is not actually representative of the movie. And I just watched it and I was like, I have no idea how to take in any of this, but I'm having a good time.
Yeah, if I had to compare this movie to anything, I would compare it to Ed Wood movies and Roger Corman Productions. So
I want to get into Ed Wood movie. I feel like I would dig Ed Wood.
Yeah, if I would recommend, I'd recommend you seek out the trilogy of Ed Wood movies: The Bride of the Monster, Glen or Glenda, and the ultimate, the greatest movie ever made, actually, Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I feel like that if anyone, I feel like I'm probably gonna give that like 4 stars sincerely and just be like, this movie rips.
Yeah,
it just
because
feels like something I would like.
people shit on Planet of Outer Space because we even read it during Money Plane. Like it has the single, like it's clearly shot on a set, and this airplane is shot in front of a blank wall with a curtain in front of it, and these cardboard like jockey sticks that they're using to move the plane, and the pie plates, the pie pans they use to represent the UFOs, it's on strings. You can clearly see it's.
I respect so much people with high ambitions and no money and no idea how to pull it off, just thinking of anything they can to make it work. Regardless of how it looks, regardless of how it pays off, there is something so pure in that creativity that reminds me of stuff like A Trip to the Moon. Like the overwhelming joy of making movies. Like, I will take movies like that made by people that care, even if they're not naturally gifted or whatever. I'll take those any day over like really sanitized, boring movies made by professionals that are good at their jobs,
Oh, you mean
but don't really care.
Oscar-nominated stuff like The Danish Girl?
Ugh, but that's not even competent. That movie's made by a dumb, bad man who sucks at movies. I mean stuff. I feel like what's a better example?
Like The Pursuit of Happiness.
Room, like Room. Remember Room with Brie Larson?
I think it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's okay. I think it's a 3 out of 5.
I haven't seen it since 2015, so...
I haven't. It's 2016 it came out here, so I saw it January 2016. I haven't seen it since. But, like, that movie's okay. But if I had to pick between that movie that was beloved by pretty much everyone when it came out, which is aggressively okay, or something like Money Plane, I'll take Money Plane every single day. Because Money Plane reminds me of why I want to make movies, and why I respect people that make movies. Because there's just such a commitment to it. Like, yes, it was produced by people that clearly just wanted to offload some cash so they didn't have to pay for, like, you know, healthcare or for social services. But in the midst of that, like, context, someone has still, with a bunch of actors who really don't care or are doing really strange things, they've made a movie that is still, like, a testament to, like, creativity and weird shenanigans by someone who clearly likes doing this, who clearly is having a good time. That's always really special to me. And I look at something like Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. I don't understand a lot of it, but I look at it and I see a bunch of nerds who really love this shit, who are just trying to make a movie that channels that love. And that's just really wholesome. Like, I can't get mad at that. Like, even if I didn't find it funny, I would respect it. Because it's not like, you know, like those kind of like Fright Fest, like Fantastic Fest stuff of like nostalgia, like horror and sci-fi that feels kind of full of shit. Like, there's nothing full of shit in this movie at all. This is just such a hugely endearing, wholesome picture. Yeah, it's cult by birthright instead of cult by, you know, like effort or charm or uniqueness. They all have a similar energy of like a lot of neon lights and some moments of ultra violence and some, like, you know, all this stuff. And it just doesn't really do much for me. Yeah. And then there's like the elevated horror as well, like and I don't care for that. It's like, look, I just what I want from a horror movie is either deep psychological discomfort or I want fucking Wes Craven lunacy. Like, I want fucking crazy shit by people that love doing
The People
this.
Under the Stairs.
I love The People Under the Stairs.
People Under the Stairs is underappreciated and awesome.
That movie kicks so much.
First of all, it has Big Ed and Nadine. So automatically 5 stars.
As fucking insane gentrifiers that kidnap kids.
Insane incesty gentrifiers.
Oh, you can't forget about the incest. There's so much. Like, The People Under the Stairs. I maintain The People Under the Stairs is the adaptation of The Witches we always deserved. Like, it has very similar energy to The Witches to me.
I think it has better energy, but...
It's much better energy. Oh, much better.
But anyway, The Lost Skeleton. Yeah, if I recommend any companions for you to follow up on this, I would recommend the initial Ed Wood trilogy as well as the movie Ed Wood by Tim Burton, because
I've seen the movie Ed Wood. I love it. It's one of my
Ed Wood. I would maintain is the best distillation of Tim Burton's energy used to date.
It just I just the movie Ed Wood makes me really emotional. Like seeing Bela Lugosi's character just so enthusiastic about the way that Ed can get so much done in one day. Like he's in awe of his like. It stuck with me for like 10 years is how much Bela Lugosi's character is just like he's so impressed by this young man for how quick he gets things done, even if it's not like the level of the stuff he was working on in his peak. He's just so admired and impressed by him, and you can feel that respect there, and just the passion that Ed Wood has for this, and how passionate everyone that works with him on it is. Like they're all so happy to be there. And I just love that. I love the idea that movies can be fun, and that making them with people that you love can be fun. And that's why I like Lost Skeleton of Cadavra a lot, actually, is because I felt like everyone there was just glad to be there. Like this is not a movie you would get rich off of. Like there's no way they made any money from this.
Sure they happened to get paid for it, but most of it was a labor of love.
Yeah, of course. Like you don't do that to get rich. You do that because sure it's nice to get like a little paycheck from it, but you do that because you have a passion, or it's your friend, or you want to hang out, or like this is not your big break motion picture. Like you're not getting this to build your career in like network TV dramas like Hawaii 5-0 or something. That's not what's gonna happen from starting this. You're doing this because you love it. And I think that movies like this, just I don't know, when you see a lot of movies, especially a lot of like mainstream stuff, it's very easy to recognize all the formulas and stuff. Money Plane and the Lost City, I always think the Lost City because the Lost City of Z.
The Lost City of the Lost City of Cadavra. I'd want to see that sequel.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Like the skeleton is just lost in like fucking like where is
that idiot?
I always forget what the Lost City is called. It's in Uncharted 4. I can't remember what it's called.
Dorado?
You know this El Dorado, that's what it says. Yeah, El Dorado. Like the fucking skeleton's just in El Dorado now, and the scientists have to find them.
I mean, the sequel does jump to South America, so.
Oh, maybe I have to watch the sequel. Maybe
I have the. So, fun fact: Lost Skeleton of Cadavra is only available on VHS or DVD or digital rental. However, the sequel got a limited edition Blu-ray release, and I managed to snag mine with autographs from the cast and creators. So
that is a very you thing to own, and I deeply respect it.
Yeah, right. It's. But jumping back to recommendations, there's another movie. Now, I'm a big proponent of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Even though I think the culture around it has sort of... You're familiar with the show, of course?
I'm familiar with... I've never seen an episode, but I know it very familiarly because of the culture
it's that
around it.
Poking fun at old movies type of, like, sitting in a theater and poking fun at the movie while you're watching it type of aesthetic. I actually feel that some of the movies they featured on the show were actually kind of awesome. Like, actually, one of the movies that I'm going to recommend is a movie they featured called It Conquered the World from 1956.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It was directed by Roger Corman and starred Peter Graves and Lee Van Cleef. And
Lee Van Cleef is a fucking man.
He's the master ninja.
He's fucking... I love Lee Van Cleef.
But it's about a scientist who invites this alien to Earth because he is a nihilist and is like, wow, Earth sucks. Here, come and destroy the Earth for me, buddy. And at one point, the movie shifts where it's like, oh, it's just a standard, oh, aliens are invading, oh no, it's terrible. But then there's like a shift in like the last third where Lee Van Cleef's wife is played by an actress named Beverly Garland, and he's been contacting the alien on like a CB radio, like a shortwave. And he's like, yes, come to Earth, destroy everything. And she just has enough of his shit, and she like, as soon as he leaves the scene, she just jumps on the radio. Like, listen here, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna hunt you down and destroy you for all the havoc you're causing, you garbage. And it's like, whoa, holy crap. And it just shifts into like, oh my god, this woman's about to go and like murder an alien, and it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, damn.
And I respect that. It's like, you know what? Everyone's gonna poke fun at this movie because it's really cheap and all that, but I don't know. I promote this movie because I think it's awesome.
I would like to see that. Yeah, I'm down to watch that. I watched early Francis Ford Coppola, Roger Corman produced movie Dementia 13 fairly recently, and that is a movie that I could see a lot of people making fun of, but I actually think has really great atmosphere. Like, it might be very cheap, and certainly not very refined, but there's something really evocative about the way it uses shadow and the way it captures this ethereal atmosphere. So I think a higher budget might have stripped from it.
Yeah, sort of like Carnival of Souls. Like, the cheapness is sort of the charm.
Oh, I fucking love Carnival of Souls. That's one of the best like horror films I saw for the first time.
I still haven't caught up with the remake they made.
They made a remake?
They made a remake in the 90s. I'm afraid to check it out.
But if anyone would like it, it's probably me, because I have astonishing taste in cinema.
Oh yeah. I admit my taste is fluid and rejects all normal sets of standards.
My taste, I like romance movies. I like science fiction. I like movies with wrestlers in it. And I find a way, because I've been doing this for a long time, I can find a way to make everything sound more meaningful than it actually is. So I can bullshit my way through like an intellectual discussion of Money Plane, but really, all you need to know is it's called Money Plane,
and it's got Kelsey-Grammer as Darius Emmanuel Grouse III.
Exactly. But the thing about Money Plane is that you get what you're expecting from the title. You get a Money Plane. And what else do you need? And it's the same thing with the Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. You get a fucking Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. And the skeleton gets found.
It does.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite aspect of the Lost Skeleton of Cadavra as we wrap this conversation up? Because you can't just go into describing every joke of this movie.
Yeah, I think it's gotta be the skeleton shitting on the first scene of the skeleton shitting on.
Oh,
him.
It's you, the stupid one.
Yeah, it's the second. The second best is when the fucking alien couple get caught out for being aliens because the woman is just like, you shouldn't have said the Earth things, or something like that.
Aliens, us? Is this one of your Earth jokes?
Yeah, that. And she's just like, you probably shouldn't have said Earth there.
Well, the
way she says it is just fucking very funny.
She discovers her fetish for inverted cloth funnels.
I mean, we all have our things, so good for her.
Tip, 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 tip.
I guess aliens have to have something to get interested in at the end of the day.
I don't know. Maybe it's my own proclivities shining through, but I really love Animala. Animala is just such a weird idea, and they ran with it.
They ran with everything, to be honest. This is a very ambitious film.
Yeah, and I'm another reason I love this so much is I admit my substandard, standards and heights I can reach. This is the type of movie I would make if I had a limited amount of funds and a crew that I would say, okay, I can't pay you much, but we're gonna make something fun and unique.
The thing is, I like to think that I would, if I get to make the chance to make like independent films, which I hope I will after COVID, but I feel like either I would go full like Greg Araki style early 90s stuff, like Totally Fucked Up or The Living End, try and do something like that through my own perspective, or I would accept the fact that I belong making movies like Money Plane. I will make a ton of movies for people that need to haul off some cash, and I'll get like fucking guys like Scott Adkins in there to do real fight scenes in there.
Hell yeah, Scott Adkins.
Just do shit like that. Scott Adkins is the fucking man. Have you seen his YouTube channel? Where he just talks about like the art of action with people.
I've heard about it. I haven't checked it out yet.
There's a great interview with him and Dolph Lundgren, where him and Dolph Lundgren are just shooting the shit for an hour. It's great.
God, everything connects because I just saw Johnny Mnemonic the other day, and I'm like, oh, sweet Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, Johnny Mnemonic is such a fucking good movie. God, I love Johnny Mnemonic.
It's a terrible adaptation of the story, but
I have never read the story, so I don't care. I just care about the vibes.
You know what? A better adaptation of Johnny Mnemonic is Strange Days.
I fucking love Strange Days is one of my favorite films of all time.
Oh, yeah. Strange Days is actually my favorite Bigelow, if you had to ask me. Like, no, Strange Days.
Oh, yeah. That's the best one. And it's Point Break. That's the top two for me.
But yeah, The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. It's available for rental.
I had a lot of fun. It's also on YouTube, which is where I saw it.
Oh, you found it for free on YouTube?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I still
Yeah.
recommend people give this movie money because I think it's worth it. And who knows, maybe we'll get that third movie someday that they've been threatening us with for years.
I mean, anything's possible. Like, you can never count out, like, a sequel to a low-budget independent film getting another sequel. You can never count it out. It's always possible.
Yeah, how many
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, like how many sequels to Witchboard or Witchcraft are there from Full Moon or whatever? The Puppet Master movies, all those goddamn Puppet Master movies.
Leprechauns, the Starship Trooper DTV sequels. Like, there's tons of shit like that.
I wonder what the movie with the most entries is, because I don't think it's the Bond series. I think there has to be like an unofficial video series that has like 40 or 50 entries by this point.
There's like a British comedy series, like Carry On, I think. There's like 40 of them.
Oh yeah, Carry On. I've heard of those.
I've never seen one, but that was a big thing.
31 British comedy motion pictures, 1978 and 1992.
Fucking Britain. Oh, British comedy it's inconsistent. It has its highs, like Alan Partridge, very funny. Some good comedians. Monty Python, yep. But a lot of it is worse than American comedy. Do you know about Mrs. Brown's Boys?
I am looking it up now, so I'm afraid.
Oh god. It is one of the worst sitcoms of all time.
Oh, it's a drag. Oh god, how transphobic is this?
It's it's something.
This feels very Medea to me, because
the thing is, it's not like the thing about like Scottish, English, Irish, like Welsh culture is that's just something that happens, and it's just not really about gender, which is just such. It's not really like a lot of American jokes make it all about like gender identity, which is because there's a lot of transphobes in America, and there are here as well. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
But it's more naive over here. Like it's literally just the basic concept of the dame. It's just a big thing over here in pantomime. It just still happens. And there's probably something that needs to be interrogated over why we keep doing it. And this should probably change. But for now, people just keep doing it all the time. And Mrs. Brown's Boys is the biggest show in the world here, for some reason. Even though it's a terrible, like the laugh track, like...
Oh yeah, it's the Big Bang Theory of Scotland.
It's so cheap, and the jokes aren't. It's so bad, God. But anyway, Lost Skeleton of Cadavra.
I recommend it. I recommend giving money to it if you can.
You know what? I would recommend it too, because you're talking to me as someone who has never seen really anything like this, would never have watched it without this specific context. And I'm still saying, you know what? It's fun. It's a fun time. Like, it'll work for you even if it's not the scene you're most interested in.
Because it doesn't depend on you having the context. It's just, oh hey, here's some aliens. Oh hey, here's a skeleton. Oh hey, science.
If you enjoy corny, sincere, weird, acerbic comedies, then I think you'll enjoy it. Like, regardless of your experience, regardless of your mood, I think it's just one of those things that, if you have that kind of interest in that sense of humor, then I think you'll enjoy it.
If I had to boil down
I had a good time.
If I had to boil down the humor of this movie to a single image, it would be Ranger Brad staring into Annie Mala's eyes as she's just crowding at his feet for some odd reason.
Do you know what the definitive image of this film is for me? It's the end credits where his name, Ranger Brad, pops up and he's smiling. Like the freeze frame. I fucking love Ranger Brad.
Ranger Brad!
Oh, Ranger Brad is my fucking guy. Yes. Ranger Brad should have liberated the money plane. That would have been great.
Hello, people. I'm here to win the bitches and spread some coin.
I'm here to be the co-pilot. Pilot.
That's why I couldn't be the co-pilot. He's played by Ranger Brad.
Ranger Brad doesn't know how to fly a jet. He's too busy ranging. That's not in the job description.
I sure hope somebody needs a ranger soon.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on here for this very special episode.
This was great. This was a lot of fun.
We got to find some more time because, well, you're not doing anything. So.
Oh yeah,
I don't mean
happily.
to sound mean. It's like, but you admit, like, oh man, I'm lazy. I don't do these shows.
I literally just said at the intro, I am not doing anything. I got 2 classes a week. Like, I don't have to do much.
London
really.
Film Festival was last month, so nothing else is really happening.
Oh god, that took up so much of my time. But now I'm just doing I do the trivia, I do some wrestling with friends, stuff like that. I'm just vibing, man.
So before we end, I'm going to ask: are there any recommendations you have for the audience? Like perhaps something that you've been watching recently that you recommend, besides, well, the things we've been talking about?
Well, like I mentioned, Green Snake is real good. That's a great movie. I think that's a thing that will appeal to a lot of people. I think Green Snake is one of those films that obviously it has greater context with the subtitles. But if you don't have access to subtitles on it, you can still watch Green Snake and just be like, oh fuck yeah, oh yeah, because it's one of those movies that's so visually expressive that you just get it. Like you'll just immediately you will know if it's your thing by the way it looks, by the way it sounds. It's just there's nothing quite like it. And the way it uses visual effects that aren't the best looking, but they're so imaginative, so colorful, so distinct, that it just further immerses you in the world. It's an excellent movie. And I saw Johnny Toe's Don't Go Breaking My Heart 2 recently, which is oh god, that movie's
I have also
great.
been on a Johnny Toe kick. Thanks, Michael.
Johnny Toe's the guy. There's no filmmaker I've seen more movies of this year than Johnny Toe.
Me too, all honesty. I've seen, I believe 11 of his movies this year, including some of his really early stuff when he was still doing, costume action movies.
Have you seen Justice My Foot yet with Stephen Chow?
I have not. Another movie I'm adding to the list.
That one's fun. The thing is, he just doesn't make bad movies to me. I've not seen a bad one yet. It's just fucking good. I love Johnny Toe so much. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. Don't Go Breaking My Heart 2 is this perfect contrast between all the best elements of rom-coms and all the best elements of really emotional melodramas, and it fucking blends the two together so perfectly. It's the best of both worlds. I loved it. And finally, I watched one of my big blind spots, The Bourne Ultimatum, which I'd never seen before the other day. And The Bourne Ultimatum is a great fucking movie. And it's I think the perfect way to describe The Bourne Ultimatum's greatness is that it makes a fucking Moby needle drop, one of the best moments of that decade. And I don't care for Moby. I don't know anyone that really has opinions on Moby. But this one song that's not that good out of context just fucking gets it because of how good the movie is, how good Greengrass nails it. It's an excellent film. And I recently finished Mad Men, which took me all year because I'm terrible at TV. But it's been a pretty good month for first watches, and The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra is a very fitting movie to add to that. So I'm very grateful that I got to watch it and talk about it with you.
Yeah. And if I had to bring any recommendations, I would say, well, I've already mentioned the 3 Ed Wood movies, plus the Ed Wood movie, plus It Conquered the World, but recent releases... There's a little scene movie from the 70s that sort of predated the school... This is going to sound terrible. The school massacre genre and event as a whole, called Massacre at Central High. It's a little exploitation film from the mid-70s that really got no one in it. It's got Robert Carradine and Andrew Stevens, if you know who they are, but they were mid-70s, early 80s actors, if anything else. But this is basically Animal Farm crossed with Revenge of the Nerds, and it's got this weird sort of broad, it's trying to tell a social melodrama about a just really shitty high school. Mm-hmm. And I think it really works, even though a lot of people say, oh, this is an exploitation film, it's garbage. You gotta read into it, guys.
There's plenty of really good exploitation films.
Yeah, so I'd recommend, along with the movies I've already mentioned throughout the podcast, Massacre Central High. It is available in at least 2 different versions on YouTube. Avoid the pornographic one. It's not worth it.
One last thing before we wrap up. Have you seen Messiah of Evil?
I have seen Messiah of Evil rocks.
That movie fucking rules. That is one of the best
Plus, it's
movies
got a
I've
couple
seen this year.
Twin Peaks alumni in there. You've got the judge as the father she's hunting down.
Messiah of Evil is one of those rare movies that genuinely unsettled me. Like, I actually got spooked by it. Like, the atmosphere is so fucking horrifying that I got tense. It takes a lot to get that out of me, but oh man. That's
the opening scene in the asylum where it just ends at her screaming. It's like,
oh,
ooh.
the movie theater scene. Oh.
The movie theater scene, the deli scene. It's like, oh no.
Oh, what a picture! What a picture! That's one of my. That's that. I assumed that would be something that you would really like.
Oh yeah, Messiah of Evil. I saw that a couple of years ago for Hooptober, and that was fucking phenomenal.
It was the best thing I saw for Horror Month. It was that and Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Retribution.
Yeah, I need to catch up on my Kiyoshi Kurosawa, but again,
have you seen Creepy?
No, you mentioned that. I added it to the list.
Yeah, that's my pick for scariest film of all time.
Yeah, I've got to hunt down that and Cure.
Oh, Cure is fucking amazing. Cure holds up so well. But yeah, we'll end up talking all night, so we should probably wrap this up.
Well, again, thank you, Logan, for popping in. We'll definitely have you in more
letting me
often.
on.
Maybe I'll get you in on the Retro Culture Year in Review, where we.
Oh, happily.
I mean, 2020's been sort of lacking for new release, so I'm thinking about changing it up for the Year in Review when it comes to like what movies we're going to talk about at the end, because usually it's like a top 10, but like. Man, not a lot came out this year. I've only seen like 48 new movies.
I have a top. I can have a top 10.
I know, but you're special. Yeah, but you're special.
I am special.
Yeah,
I've seen like. Well, how many have I seen? I've seen like 200 from this year.
Oh Christ! Yeah,
that's very low for me, obviously, because I usually see like 400 a year for new releases.
Well,
I get mad when I get under 500.
Oh, I think my best was like I got 280. In 2018.
My best was 2015, where I believe I either got slightly under or slightly above 600 for 2015. But that was a rough year for catch up. I saw like 150 movies in December. I was tired.
Yeah, that was me.
Never again.
That was me last year.
Spacing it out.
That was me last year preparing for the decade in review. Where I'm like, oh god, it's November of 2019. I haven't seen a lot of movies from this decade. Shit.
I didn't bother making a decade list because I just couldn't be bothered because I knew I would go too hard on it.
Well, if you're interested in listening to me talk about my decade, you can check that out on retroculture.blogspot.com. But yeah, Logan, where can my listeners and followers find you if they want to read more of your opinions and whatnot?
They can find me at Logan Kenny 1 at Twitter. They can find me on cinematary.com, where I have written a few reviews. They can find me on the film stage.
And also, I'd point out he's on Letterboxd at Arkham Outlaw 10. Check him out.
Yep, the name I gave because I got an Xbox when I was 10, and the first game I had on it was Arkham Asylum. And
Hell
it's just the name I use for everything. That game kicks ass.
It does. It still kicks. I replayed it earlier this year.
I bought the Arkham collection on PS4 so I could replay it. I'm gonna do it after I've done Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because I haven't finished that yet.
Yeah, and you lot can find me on Twitter at Wheezy_Luigi. You can also find me on Letterboxd at RebLaser11/BrettTheWiz BS, the Bachelor of Science. And you can also find me. I've been very strangely active this year on my blog, Retro Culture, actually adding a lot of podcasts. I just finished up the Hooptober retrospective, talking about Mike and so much stuff. We had an epic 3-hour dialogue, me and my bestie, talking about all the crap we watched, including the Coffin Joe movies. Oh, so much stuff. But yeah, you can find me between Twitter, Letterboxd, and the Retro Culture blog, and yeah. Thank you again, Logan, and thank you, my gorgeous listeners, for listening. And tune in next time where we'll have even more gorgeous retro culture for you to culture yourselves with. Have a good night, people.
Alright, bye.
A very special thank you to Logan Kenny for guesting on this special episode of Retro Culture. The music used within was The Entertainer by Scott Joplin, as well as Danse Macabre by Camille Saint-Saens. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Retro Culture, you gorgeous listeners. And be sure to tune in for more Retro Culture is on the horizon. In the meantime, watch some good movies, and party on. Peace and love.